to At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And this week, it's time to learn about America's great history and Jesus through song that you can't remember.
Melody Time from 1948.
Melody time, melody time.
For the melody time of your life, it's Walt Disney's gay, sparkling, delightful new musical comedy, Melody Time. 11 popular music stars, 7 smash song hits to lift you to the skies, riotous comedy to bring you down to earth again, setting a new and exciting pace in mirthful, melodious entertainment.
This had to be the hot ticket of 1948.
I feel it actually wasn't. It seems like this movie was poorly received and got buried for most of time.
You don't think the people of 1948 were lining up to see this piece of cinema?
You didn't think that they were like super into trees? They're like, trees, man.
I mean, this is very confusing, especially knowing that this is one of 5 of these types of movies that they made.
And really, it's not a movie.
No, and so that's why this is going to be really...
It's just an amalgam of stories. I hope we really keep ourselves focused and get through this quickly.
That's what I was going to ask, is how we can't talk about a lot of the stuff we normally talk about.
No.
We'll just quickly go through each segment.
Like characters? There's no characters.
No, it's literally like I figured we would just talk through each segment, as it happens. Oh, what did you think about this? Did you like the music?
Pretty much.
Because the music is a big part, but
it's the main part. It's the main character is the music, but it's not cohesive throughout.
It makes no sense to me. Nothing about this movie makes sense.
This is just a way in the time to show off animation and cool stuff and tell a bunch of stories and call it a movie, and that's what they did.
This is almost similar to watching a Looney Tunes compilation.
Yeah, it's a lot like an episode and a half or 2 episodes of Looney Tunes,
but not as good.
Yeah.
But there were a couple segments that I didn't hate.
There was one I really liked.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. I'm curious to know which one you liked. So my overall initial thought was I was confused and just kind of literally in the middle of the movie, I said, I need a drink, and I had to get up and go make myself a drink.
It wasn't the middle, it was 15 minutes in.
Oh, it was only 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so this was the longest hour and 15 minutes of my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because usually the short, cartoon movies, it goes fast, and it's funny, ha ha ha, and
This wasn't funny, there was no exposition, really. The exposition that there was god awful, except for one part. It just... Ugh.
This is not my favorite at all.
No, I don't think this is anybody's favorite.
And I'm trying to put myself in the mind of somebody in the late 1940s.
I get why they did this. It makes sense for the time, but it just doesn't make sense now.
No, it's awful. It's not good.
So, read the synopsis.
Oh, yeah, okay. Boo, 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 boo. And this is on Disney Plus with
shockingly
a huge rating that I don't understand.
It was because there were some Indians that were portrayed a little poorly, but otherwise not
in the Pecos Bill part?
Pecos Bill and Johnny Appleseed.
Okay,
although the Johnny Appleseed, it seemed like they were portrayed well.
Yeah, the only part that I thought was kind of questionable was the Johnny Appleseed part, and that was literally 2 seconds. But they made it a point to have this huge warning about cultural depictions. It just wasn't.
It didn't seem warranted for this movie.
It's just they didn't even have that on Squanto. I mean, just or on Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
It's just. And that's way worse. Okay. Melody Time. Family Anthology Animation. In the grand tradition of Disney's great musical classics, Melody Time features 7 timeless stories, each enhanced with high-spirited music and unforgettable characters. Disney favorite Donald Duck puts a display of jazzy antics as the star of Blame It on the Samba. Music becomes a real adventure for a busy bumblebee in Bumble Boogie. Cheer on the mischievous young tugboat in Little Toot, and root for the heroes of legend and myth in Johnny Appleseed and Pecos Bill. You'll tap your toes and clap your hands in this witty feast for the eyes and ears.
Witty, I would really argue with.
And yet, it doesn't say contains tobacco descriptions.
Well, with Pecos Bill's cigarette constant? Yeah.
Yeah, and the bird's cigar in Blame It on the Samba, the green bird. He had a big old fat
parrot.
He had a big old
He had
fat cigar.
Stogie, yeah.
Yeah.
So the directors, Clyde Giamini, Wilfred Jackson, Jack Kenny, and Hamilton Lusk, all worked on Cinderella for the most part.
Yeah.
They will mix them up because it's not worth going individually. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, I think they all worked on... No, I guess none of them all worked on anything.
Well,
Peter Pan,
3 out
Alice
of the 4.
in Wonderland. Yeah, the 3 out of the 4 really kind of did a lot.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, Lady and the Tramp.
A couple of them worked on Snow White, and then the Hamilton Lusk guy also worked on the animation in Mary Poppins.
Yeah. He wasn't a director, though, so I wasn't going to throw that in. But yeah, I mean, they're just the early animating guys they directed, which the animation was great.
So that's the one thing that I did like about this movie was all the different animation, especially one of the segments in particular. And it was one of the shorter segments. Well, 2 of the shorter segments were my favorite.
Really?
And
oh my god, okay.
Mainly because I liked the animation.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, dog.
Other than that, it was. I mean, for actors, was Roy Rogers the narrator, or was?
No, Roy Rogers was the cowboy who was telling the story. He was just the biggest star.
So who was the narrator?
I was confused, because at first I thought it was Dennis Day, and then it turns out I don't think I'm right, and then I didn't research it correctly.
Yeah, because you're over it.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a lot of musical acts of the time. Those were the actors.
The most interesting of which was the Andrews sisters.
Yeah.
Who did the tug. When I did a little reading about them, that needs to be made into a movie. Their story.
Oh, about their story? What was their story? Like, briefly?
Well, there was like a lot of breakups and solo acts, but they were in movies beforehand, all this. Like, it just seems very dramatic, and one of them died kind of early, and the other 2 feuded for the rest of their lives.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, it just seems good.
So
were
they actually sisters?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And, I mean, they're in a million soundtracks all the way up till today. I mean, it's crazy the amount of work that they have in today's society.
So that's really interesting, because I just was like, oh, there's some band from the 40s, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that would be a great story. Or uncredited Mel Blanc as Lil Toot.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But he was also... He's the voice of Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, well, he's the voice of a lot of things.
Yeah, but so he was the only other one that stood out to me. Everyone else was just a bunch of...
I threw in Ethel Smith because she was the live-action samba lady.
Yeah, the organist.
Yeah, the organist. Yeah. I was like, okay, she deserves a spot.
Yeah, but there wasn't... I mean, there's no characters, really, or actors. It's...
Not to speak of.
There's no really dialogue until the very last segment of the movie.
Well, and the Johnny Appleseed part.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of like a dialogue that's more of a story, not dialogue.
Yeah, no, this is just, the part that bothered me the most about this whole thing was none of the segments really went together.
Or flowed together even,
It was just, oh, here's a thing, and here's a thing, and the fact that we have 4 more of these similar types of movies to watch.
Well, and they really pointed out who was responsible for each segment. That came before the name of the segment. Was like, oh, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and it was confusing sometimes on, is that the person or is that the segment? Like, what? Yeah.
It seems like we're supposed to know who each segment was done by, and we don't. And that's fine.
So that's why it doesn't really hold up.
So do you have any fun facts, Kelly?
I have a couple. The working title for this film was called All in Fun.
Wow. Okay, that would have made just as much sense. I have that the bumblebee and trees were intended for Fantasia.
So I am curious about Fantasia because those 2 segments, I mean, not exactly spoiler, but those were 2 of the segments I actually liked the animation quite a bit.
That's what I figured.
So I just wonder if I'll like Fantasia more because I really liked the animation in those 2 segments. I don't know.
I remember as a young man hating Fantasia.
I've never seen it.
And if it's anything like this, which I think it is, I'm not going to like it, but whatever. You got anything else?
Yeah, so I mean, as we kind of already said, this is the 5th of these package films, is what they're called. Saludos Amigos, 3 Caballeros, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, and then this.
Ugh.
This is the last one that they did.
Yeah. So not only was this their 10th animated movie, it was also never theatrically re-released.
Re-released.
Yeah, re-released, which I think all of them have been, basically.
So that just says that this was a stinker.
Yeah, this was awful and nobody wanted to watch it.
Great. But we're here to watch it for you.
Right, and let's talk through this very quickly. This is going to be...
A little different than
I'm gonna
most.
say this is going to be the shortest modern At the Disney Moves with the Hearts episode.
Yeah, because I mean, really, we're just going to go through each segment. We're not even going to go through the whole plot.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
honestly, I should just say,
No.
let's just do a general overview of each segment.
Yeah.
What did you like about it? What did you not like about it?
So then we had the Melody Time credit songs, which were kind of dumb, and it introduced the painting effects, and that we're getting into a story. The Once Upon a Winter Time was really bad.
It was pretty boring, but so I may have seen this at some point in my life because that Once Upon a Wintertime story, the animation was really familiar.
So if you look in deeper into this, they cut all the chunks out of this movie and aired them all over the place.
Okay, so either I saw this as a kid and that's the only part I remember because I fell asleep quickly after, or I've seen it somewhere.
I just really hated the girl being petulant about the guy laughing at her falling. It just
with her 20 skirts.
With her 20 skirts and her skirt structure, or whatever that's called.
A bustle.
Her giant bustle.
This was one of the worst segments. I mean, I liked the little rabbits that were
the rabbits were cute.
They were following them.
The squirrels in the sleigh were cute that saved them in the end.
Yeah, and I did the only thing I did like about all the segments is just the way they put the animation to the music was cool.
Was cool.
But
and the best part about this was the horses saving them.
Oh, right?
Definitely the best part.
That was the best part,
but
sure.
Otherwise, this was 10 minutes of forgettable... Brr.
Don't you kinda love December when the merry snowbirds chime? We're together once upon a winter time.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And it's followed up by the next most forgettable.
What? So the Bumble Boogie?
How long did this last? Because I have this tacked at about 5 minutes.
The Bumble Boogie?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that long. It was really short.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, wait, what happened?
So
it was cool what happened, but I was taken aback by it being too short.
It was very short, but I really liked this segment because I like the song, the music, Flight of the Bumblebee, but I just liked the concept of the musical notes chasing the bumblebee, and I liked the animation a lot, so...
I like the flowers eating the bumblebee. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
but...
and it kind of had a similar vibe to, like, the Dumbo, like, pink elephants scene a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that Bumblebee has made appearances in other Disney cartoons, because that's very recognizable, that odd-colored Bumblebee.
Yeah, and so I actually did like this segment. It was one of the ones I liked more than the others.
Fair enough.
But maybe it's because it sort of kept my attention, so you didn't like the Bumblebee segment.
No. But I did like the Johnny Appleseed segment.
I did not like the Johnny Appleseed segment. I was, as soon as he just like, oh, you got a good book to read here, young son.
See,
it's the Bible.
I was able to completely ignore that part.
So this segment, so the only thing that I enjoyed about the segment was I got very distracted because when the wagon train came, I was like, what is this? What is that? And I was like, wait, what was that wagon movie we watched that was so bad? And I wasn't even paying attention to the segment. I was like, what the is that movie called? I was like, Yo-Ho Wagons?
Westward Ho.
What? And yeah, and then I was Westward Ho. That's right. Yeah. It was like Westward Ho. There you go.
I just like that he was a pothead.
Yeah, he just was. So basically the whole, and I guess I didn't really remember the story of Johnny Appleseed.
I don't believe I've ever actually heard it.
But, okay, so the song that he's singing about, the Lord is good to me, whatever, blah, blah,
you
blah.
You probably heard that, yeah.
Christian school, I'm pretty sure that was a thing. Because Johnny Appleseed was a thing somewhere. Yeah. His fairy godfather shows out, oh, you gotta go west. Blah, blah, blah.
West and plant apple seeds.
Yeah, and this was one of the longer segments.
Well, and that's why I think it was kind of better, because it at least had something to it. He plants all the apples, he's a friend to all the animals.
I can't. With the freaking mountain lion, it's like rubbing up on him like a cat. I can't.
Well, I mean, that's his whole point. He's an orchardman. He didn't come with guns or knives. The Indians and the white mix at the dance, celebrating all the apples. He keeps planting until he dies, and then he plants in heaven.
There was way too much Jesus in this.
I was able to just... and that's a coping mechanism that I have, is I just ignore that part and just keep going.
But it was so prevalent in almost every segment.
No, I get it, but I just don't... I just don't care. So I just go past it, because I don't care.
And then it's another segment. Little Toot.
Little Toot was just a tug, just a happy harbor tug, and he came from a line of tugboats fine and brave.
Little Toot, which is my favorite part.
So, I don't dislike this part.
I actually really enjoyed the way that the sisters sung a lot of the parts of this. Like when he's in trouble and they do like weird things with their voices.
Yeah. So
I thought was really cool.
The part when he's all like ostracized and he goes out and the buoys are like, what do they say? They're like, bad boy.
Bad boy.
Shame.
And that's them doing that. And the effect of their voice is so cool.
It just was funny.
I really enjoyed the silly story, like him being chained up, arrested, and taken out to sea in the first place was hilarious.
Well, and you have like the police tugboat that has its little cannon. It's like me. It just was.
Yeah, they're ready to kill in the fort.
Yeah, and his dad has resigned to like towing a garbage truck.
Barge and having seagulls pelt off of him.
But the best part of it is at the end when he redeems himself and they start singing...
Do or die. Do or die. No. I like that.
No, it's when they start saying, you're a big toot now. Because I'm just thinking about actual flatulence.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
The whole time. But it's literally just a story about a little boat who is...
The little boat that could.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
all that is.
The original Thomas the Tank Engine?
No, it's the little boat that could. That was the original Thomas the Tank Engine, is this.
Yeah.
But that's not what they called it in this. And this was definitely my favorite of all the scenes.
Really?
Because I think the singing was so interesting throughout. They did a lot of weird bending and stuff with their voices that made this interesting.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I just like the bad boy.
And I'll just let you go for the next one.
What? The trees?
Yeah.
You really didn't like this, did you?
I hated this part.
So, I didn't like this segment. I just liked the animation.
The animation was great, and they were talking about breasts and bosoms, which was fine.
There was Bambi, and I was like, Bambi, is that you? A tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's flowing breast. It's just so, like, graphic.
Yeah, I just didn't have any time for this.
And it was very Jesus-y. But the only part of the segment the reason I liked the segment was the animation where there was the storm and all the animals, and I liked that part.
That was okay, but it was just so quick and kind of boring. I was just like, oh, well, it's cool animation, but it's gone.
Yeah, no, it definitely was too much, but I just really liked the animation.
I was looking for a better tribute to trees, personally.
You didn't want a hungry mouth of roots pressed against a breast?
No, that's cool. I'm into that.
The earth's flowing breast.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really saggy...
Or the snow in the tree's bosom. So then we roll into Blame It on Samba.
This is the most bizarre segment out of all of them.
Absolutely.
It's so out of place compared to all the rest of them, but I think it's because they just wanted to carry over the characters from Three Caballeros.
I think they wanted that. I think they wanted the chick. I think they wanted something a little racy because this lady pulls her skirt way up at the end.
Yeah, she does.
And it's like, whoa, this will wake the audience up for the next part.
It was just...
And who was that weird red-headed bird that they never put in another movie, cartoon, or anything?
He looked like Woody Woodpecker.
Kind of.
And he even made the same...
No, that was a she. It was not a he. That was a she-bird. And I feel like all these years, they missed an opportunity to make that character a character. Because she seemed great to me. She was playing the drums. She was causing chaos. She was really mixing it up, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, she's almost like an ancestor of Kevin from Up.
And I actually kind of forgot to shout out during the Johnny Appleseed part. Is that the first time we ever see Dale?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
And one of the other, quote, fun facts I didn't write down was apparently there was a crossover Johnny Appleseed and Chip and Dale segment at some animation later. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because that was clearly Dale with his one tooth and being silly. I was like, oh, Dale. Yeah. Anyway, the Blame It on the Samba, they get drunk, they dance. And at the end, it's really cool because the crazy red bird blows up Ethel Smith and the two birds with fire and dynamite.
It's just, I feel like you have to be high throughout this whole movie to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Especially this part.
What, the Pecos Bill part? Or the Samba part?
The Samba part.
You take a smoke up, papa, chee-chee-chee-chee-chee. One pandero, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Take the whiska, you've got the fascinating rhythm of the samba. And if guitar starts strumming, chee-chee-chee-chee.
No, it's just the Samba part is so
It doesn't
bizarre.
fit the rest of the movie.
It's bizarre.
I like it. I like the Samba part.
It's weird.
It is weird, but it's at least fun.
Well, and so the Three Caballeros, I think, is going to be more like that.
Yeah, maybe. But we only had 2 of the Caballeros.
Yeah.
And then we get the Pecos Bill part.
Oh my god, I can't.
Which is excruciatingly long.
This is like half the movie.
At least.
So, in Pecos Bill, it's a restaurant in Disney World. We went there.
Well, of course. And you see his dumb face, but,
yeah, but I didn't know
this is clearly
that.
where it comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people really knew that.
So this is a fun fact. At first, I was thinking, so this is a tumbleweed love story?
No, this is a Texas love story.
It's something.
It's awful.
Yeah, so basically then it goes to a group of live action people and they're talking about the coyotes howling at the moon and why do they do that? And oh, dumb little woman in training, you're so stupid.
Yeah, oh boy, oh shucks, there's a woman in the story?
Which is the only good line in this movie.
Yeah.
And they tell the story about Bill and basically...
And Slowfoot Sue.
Yeah, which, I don't get that name.
And the Widowmaker. It doesn't make any sense. Basically, Pecos Bill's horse is super jelly of his super hot wife and kills her by bucking her off, and she bounces into space with her...
Bustle.
With her bustle.
Yeah.
And that's why coyotes howl at the moon, and
yeah.
It's just a terrible
story.
Well,
and he was, at the beginning, apparently abandoned.
He was abandoned, he fell off the wagon and got... That must be your family.
Yep.
And got adopted by coyotes.
Which, that first part, that was cute.
It was fine.
I enjoyed that, but then I was like, okay, that's going to be the end. But then
well, this is where some of the racist parts were with the whole painted desert Indians. And
that was really the only part. And it just...
Yeah.
But it was almost as though we were watching a young Scandalous John. I mean, this is literally what happened to Scandalous John.
But not all of as great.
With all of his gun shooting.
But just awful with I hate that curve up on their lip, on Pecos Bill's lip, and the same thing with the Alice in Wonderland villain. I hate it so much. And it was so popular in Disney animation, it disgusts me.
Yeah,
I can't stand
the style of animation. But then they make the chick look like Cinderella.
Hot.
Like Cinderella?
Yeah, no, with a big booty. Well, maybe not. Those are bustle.
No, but they were like... there was a lot of sexual...
Yeah, because she was going to ride the horse.
In this, and it was, yeah. It was as, she's busting out of that with confidence. Like, okay, why don't you just say what you actually, mean there? She's busting out.
So, what was your favorite part, Kelly?
Shut up. Even though it was short, I'm going to go with the Bumblebee segment. I just thought it was really cute. I liked the concept. I liked the music. I really liked the animation. And I wish it was longer, but also I think that might have been why I liked it.
Brevity is the soul wit.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that was good. It was short.
I liked Tug for the clever singing.
So, okay, I did like Little Toot. That was actually...
Little Toot, sorry.
Talking through the little segments, I think that was probably my second favorite. Was
I just liked their performance in Little Toot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the notable songs, I couldn't remember a single one.
I mean, you have the Melody Time song at the beginning, and then each segment had a song. but it just wasn't memorable.
They all kind of blend together.
Yeah, it just wasn't good.
No.
Okay.
So the music all kind of sucked. There's no main character, obviously. There's no villain.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote N-A.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, for side characters, I just wrote every character, but that doesn't really count.
This isn't a normal at the Disney movies, and every one of these, package films, it's not going to be normal because it's not...
We should call them packies, like on the East Coast where they buy liquor.
It's not really a normal movie.
It's not.
Because this would not be a thing in theaters today.
Nobody could handle this.
It's not...
You couldn't even put this on Quibi, which doesn't exist anymore, but still, you couldn't.
It existed for what, like 2 minutes?
Yeah. So the cinematography and animation is awesome.
That is the only part about this movie I like, is the animation.
Especially the combination live action animation of the samba part was really cool.
Yeah, no, that part was cool.
With her feet moving and her hands moving and the fire and that was cool. That lady, I think, really did a good job, even though she just probably played the organ.
Yeah, she was a pianist. That was her profession.
Yeah.
This is just weird.
It is. So, what was your biggest surprise or disappointment from this movie, Kelly?
I'm surprised and disappointed in Disney that they made they got to, they made the first one of these movies and let's do that again. Oh, really? 2 times wasn't enough? Oh, 3rd time, 4th time, 5th time? It took you 5 times of making these to realize it's not a good idea. It's boring. That's my biggest surprise and disappointment. That this is not good. It's good for some, VHS tape you put in, when you're a kid and, oh yeah, fun segment. But it's not, it's like something you put on for fun for 5 seconds.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you?
So, I'm disappointed that it's just not a movie.
It doesn't even count. But it did come out in theaters, so we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it was a movie then.
There's no quotable lines. The woman line.
Aw, shucks. A woman's in the story? That's it.
Yeah.
Because it was literally the only dialogue.
And if you there's no remaking this movie.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that.
There's no reason.
This is essentially the 5th remake.
So for final thoughts...
If you need a movie that your kid will fall asleep to, like if your kid is driving you crazy,
good point.
You're like, go to sleep, put this on. They'll fall asleep within the winter Wonderland segment.
And I just say, if you have a kid with ADHD who likes music, throw it on.
That's just awful. I hate it.
Did you get a budget?
I did. The budget was $1.5 million.
Which I don't believe, by the way. No,
I do.
I don't believe that.
I do. And they made, and I don't know if this is cumulative, but it was just the DVD sales and all the sales, 2.56 million.
None of those figures make any sense for the time it was released.
But I couldn't find anything else.
I know, but that just seems like made up internet stuff. So Kelly, if you had to rate this movie, what would you rate it?
So I really did not like this at all. I was very bored through most of it, and I'm somebody who likes music and is very into music.
And musicals, yeah.
And musicals with words. I gave this a 15%. I really didn't like it. I really did not like this. There was no cohesivity in any of the segments. You can take out, the Tug segment, the Bumblebee segment. That's 6 minutes. It's not good. It's bad.
So I was a little more generous. I didn't think it was that bad. I enjoyed Johnny, Tug. Ugh. A little bit of Pecos Bill, kind of.
Would you give it 100%?
No, I give it a 38%. So what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is?
I feel as though there's a lot of interesting people out there.
Critics or people?
Oh, the critics probably loved this. They probably eat this up. They probably but it probably didn't do very well. So I'm going to say critics like a 65.
Okay. And what about people?
I bet people... 78.
Okay, so the critics gave this a indescribable 73%, which makes no sense to any person alive, and the people gave it 48%.
Okay, so that I actually thought more people had some sort of weird childhood nostalgia.
More of us are with us.
I really don't like this.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not a movie. It's awful.
And it's stupid.
It's dumb. So let's move on. Let's get past this garbage.
So now it's time for Kelly's favorite part of the podcast.
Oh, let me adjust.
Yeah, you better get adjusted.
Okay, because I gotta
Never
get
know.
my limbs free, so if I get excited, I can go. Wait. Let me take another sip. Uh-oh, David just made a really big oh my god face.
I didn't think this could happen. I thought it was literally impossible.
David, I'm sweating. Oh my god, what number is it?
411.
Whoa. That's like the newest movie, isn't it?
It sure is.
Oh god, what is it called?
It's from 2021.
Is it Luca?
No, it's Cruella.
Oh.
Oh.
We're gonna have to pay for this, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have to pay a lot of money for this.
Oh,
I think
my
like $25 or $30 or go to the movie theater.
I don't think you can see it in theaters.
You're probably right. So, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is intense.
This is literally the last movie on our list right now.
Right now, it shouldn't be, but it is. But still, we still got 411 either way, which is Cruella.
I'm kind of excited. Not gonna lie.
I don't know what to expect because I don't know this lady.
Emma Stone? Oh, well, she's been in a ton of stuff.
What that I've seen? Nothing.
I guess you probably haven't seen a lot. That
Mean
she's been
tweets
in.
where it says she looks like she smelled like cat pee, and I agree.
She does.
Yeah.
No, but it's probably gonna have a similar vibe as Maleficent.
I hope so because Maleficent ended up being good.
And I actually really like 101 Dalmatians, and Cruella is one of my villains that I actually like a lot.
I can't remember if I like 101 Dalmatians. However, Cruella de Vil is one of the best villains in all the Disney movies.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, basically based on Angelica Houston, so maybe I'll be disappointed.
Why is it based on Angelica Houston?
Didn't she play the live action 101 Dalmatians?
Oh, that was Glenn Close.
Oh, okay, but based on Glenn Close, yeah. Wait, when was that though?
Like the 90s?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Based on that.
Yeah.
Well, and the real one too. I also like that.
And it's got a jazzy song, Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. No, it's wow, that's brand new.
Yeah, that's incredible. I don't know what to even say.
So it's obviously the backstory of how Cruella became Cruella, whatever that means.
So it's kind of cool that we're seeing it before 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I guess that would put a new...
Because then whenever it is that we end up rolling 101, we'll
The
be
next
like,
time.
oh my god. Yeah, that would be awesome, but that's not going to happen.
I mean, you didn't think we'd roll Cruella.
I didn't think it was possible to roll the last movie or the first movie. I don't think it's possible for us to roll Snow White. I feel like it's going to be the last thing we do, and we have to be like, okay, fine, all the options are exhausted. We have to do Snow White.
Which would kind of idyllic with having just the first movie they made be the last movie we watch.
I guess, yeah. Well, there will be no last movie until we decide to stop doing this because they'll always be making movies.
That's true. Touche, that's very true. But, okay, I'm kind of looking forward to this, actually.
Yeah, same. So, in the meantime, if you'd like to follow us on social media at this point, just Facebook and Instagram at the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
Send us an email at thedisneymovies@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. 5 stars.
Yeah.
And
basically just listen and share with any of your friends who you think might think that we're funny or interesting or stupid.
Yeah. And if you watched Melody Time as a child, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. Oh. And if you liked it,
please let us know.
I'm going to guess that you're over 50, and I understand why.
And you got your little, what is that old-timey record player, the stenograph?
The stenograph,
and you're like, you're in your rocking chair. I remember Melody Time.
Yeah.
I was an extra. I played the tree.
In the meantime, this has been At the Disney Movies of the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David. Bye!
I can't even. Oh my god. Oh, Luke. What is it, dog? Tell me all about it.
It's a little toasty out here. Yeah. You gotta stay up here. Be a good girl. Lay down.
No, I don't want to.
Lay down.
I don't want to go to bed.
Lay down.
Lily's a hot dog.
HOTDOG.
Okay, give me like 20 seconds here. And I'll be ready.
30 minutes later.
20 seconds. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.